At Necessitate, an inclusive platform, we bring to you curated mindful products, great fun recipes you can do at home for the modern way of eating and cooking. Come along with us and share and learn more for yourself, your loved ones, and your home. Enjoy! Hi, thank you for tuning in. I'm Erica Reid with Necessitate TV. It's holiday time, Thanksgiving time, guilt-free dessert time. Okay, so I have been making for many years a delicious apple pie. As many of you know, and many of you do not know, I do not use any nuts when I cook anything. No dairy and no sugar. Those are typically the 3 standard ingredients that you will not see in my recipes when you see me cooking them, okay? So no nuts, no dairy, and no sugar. So this is an apple pie that I created because having kids with food allergies and not being able to have nuts that were in pie crust or the butter that was in the pie crust or whatever it was, they couldn't eat it. So I got in the kitchen and I remember my mother would make these delicious apples when we were little. So I'm like, well, nowadays they sell store-bought apple pies. So why don't I just get a pie and make the apples that my mother taught us how to make when I was a little girl, and I'm gonna just fill the apple pie crust up, and so that's what I did. So I'm gonna show you how quick and simple and easy this is. Get about 8 different apples. It's totally up to you what kind of apples you wanna get. You can mix your apples up. You can do Granny Smith apple, you can do Honeycrisp, which I love, it's a great apple. It's, if you ever go apple picking, which I love doing, you can just get some great, delicious apples. Now, you hear a lot about organic versus non-organic and local. Local means it's sourced, it's grown in your area. Organic is there's no chemical sprayed to it to keep the bugs off, so your apples do not have that shiny extra wax on it. And these apples are organic. And yes, I am removing the skin. Typically, I like to say if you are not eating the skin, it does not need to be organic, but if you're eating the whole thing, you should try and get organic as much as possible because you do not want those toxins to accumulate inside of you, which happens when you eat a lot of pesticides. So you just peel your apples, and then you just want to, I've had this apple cutter that I'm about to use. I've already sliced some apples pre-shooting here because kids are at school, so I got to do the best I can when I can. So I've had this for many years. You don't have to go out and invest in one at all. A knife works just as well. You don't have to spend any money extra to get this. But I use it because I've had it forever. This is what, sometimes it's like that. I've had it because when I started doing this with my kids, they were younger, and it was just too hard to get them to be around a knife. And this is sharp as well, but this was easier for me to manage with them than a knife. So they were able to just put this on, and I could hold their hands and I say, press down. And so you press down. And it's so easy. It's so simple. Put this in. Now, sometimes you get it like this. Just spread them apart and just cut the little parts off right there. Okay, I gotta take my rings off because I'm always in them, but I wanna get in this. Like, I don't have to put gloves on today, so I'm gonna get in here and make this baby. Okay, so here we have our apples, and they're just, diced up. Again, you can use whatever works for you. It looks really good. I wanna eat one. I like to squeeze a little lemon juice for an extra little kick. And I'm not gonna measure. I just wanna show you how quick and easy it is. I like to add a little bit of cloves and do this your way. You don't have to, maybe there's something here that you don't like, that you don't wanna use, that I'm using. Don't be afraid, do your thing. I do a little bit of nutmeg, cardamom, My mother's always like, put some cardamom. You need some cardamom in your lentils. So I always do a little bit of cardamom, a little bit of allspice. I'm just eyeing it. And trust me, when I was starting out in the kitchen, you know, having kids that have food challenges and allergies and, you know, wanting to get us better on eating in a way that was going to, you know, sustain us throughout our days, I didn't know how to do any of this. Like, I didn't know how to cook at all. So I'm kind of shocked too, but here I am. I guess it was all in me and I needed something to bring it out. And I guess that was my kids' food allergies and their challenges that brought it out. So I like to use a little agave. And I just put a little agave and maple syrup. This is my version of sugar. So yes, I do a sweetener, but this is how I sweeten it. I don't use sugar. I don't use sugar because it's in the apple and it's pretty much in a lot of stuff that we consume throughout our day. So I prefer not to add it. So here you have your apples, nice, and you just mix them up. Get that little juice all up in there and going. And I do a little bit of apple cider vinegar, like a little bit. Like, that's it. I know you're probably like, well, what's the point? I just think it just adds to it with the lemon. And it's just a tiny bit. Because the lemon in here, squeezed, when you cook things, they say that's acidic. All right, so went to the store, got my pie crust, and I hope I can open this pie crust. This one is sealed up. New packaging, I like it. So this pie crust is gluten-free. Let me just double check, make sure there is no nuts in here because you never know if people change their recipes and, you know, you can buy something forever and next thing you know they came out with a nut version or a newer version. So you get 2 pie crusts. So it looks like my grandmother made it on her big machine, but she didn't. Or it looks like, shall I say, I made it all day while the kids were at school, but I didn't. But shh, nobody needs to know. Sometimes you just do what you gotta do. So, I have 2 crusts here, and this is what I like to buy at the store. They're frozen, I thaw them out. So simple, are you ready? You got your apples, fill the pie crust up. This is it. You just fill the crust with the apples, and like literally, this is your homemade apple pie. Okay? We're not in the kitchen all day. We have to pick up from school. We got to go grocery shopping. We have to cook. We have to clean, fold clothes, laundry, whatever it is. Okay, so the crust, I'm just going to take it. It's a little too soft. I think it's been sitting out too long, so it feels like it's just going to crack. So I'm going to try and put this just on top and see. Here we go. All right. So a little bit came off, and I'm just going to put it on top. This is so easy. Okay, don't judge my pie. Don't judge me. But you kind of get the gist of it, right? This isn't going to anybody's house. When my son gets home from school, he's going to be so happy because he's going to have apple pie. So I like to take a little fork and your peers. I just remember being a little girl, my grandmother did this to her homemade biscuits. So I just take my fork because I do it and because she did it and I grew up doing it, and it also gets the heat to go within. I melted just a little bit of butter, and this is non-dairy butter, so there's no animal fat in here, and I just brush it on top. Okay, so this little part, it just had a little recipe malfunction, so we won't worry about that, but you get the idea, right? But we learned together. So my pie crust sat out too long. So there it is. I'm gonna bake this baby. And I am going to put it on a baking sheet. I already preheated the oven. Woo. All right, we're gonna bake this apple pie. It's preheated. We're going in. And while this is baking, I'm gonna clean up. See you in a few minutes, pretty girl. Okay, apple pie is ready. It's kind of cute. It's a little malfunction, but you get the idea, right? Don't judge me on it. Hey, I'm doing this by myself. There's no recipe tester here. There's no food stylist. It's just me making this pretty. So it messed up and had a little boo-boo, but that's okay. We're still gonna eat it and enjoy it and not waste it. That apple pie is all delicious and ready. I have my non-dairy butter that I'm just drizzling over the pie. Just gonna pour it like such. And this is great to take or to serve at your home if you're having guests and your guests have dietary restrictions. You can get a gluten-free crust. There's no dairy in here, there's no sugar in here, there's no nuts. It's made with lots of love and health concerns, and I thought of you, and you'll think of them or you'll think of yourself. And again, it's not always for someone else. You can enjoy it just as well. So we're gonna taste this apple pie, and I'm gonna share it with this good old partner behind the camera. And we're gonna have some apple pie. And it's hot. And when my child gets home, ooh, they're gonna be so happy to have this. I like to use, I don't have any today, but non-dairy ice cream. And I like to do vanilla and stick it on top of this. I even have my mother who grew up on butter, sugar, and dairy. She grew up eating that, but when she eats this apple pie, she loves it. And it's just great. I mean, a lot of people want alternatives nowadays. They don't want the, typical heavy stuff. But here it is. I'm gonna get us forks. This is what it looks like when it comes out the oven. It's smoking hot. All right, let's see. I guess this is what everybody waits for, the finale. Well, the apples have a good texture. Great taste. Mom, if you could taste this one. I could have used a little bit more syrup, honestly, but it's delicious. Just need a little more syrup. Not sweet enough, but delicious enough. Voila. That is so good. Happy Thanksgiving from me to you, from Necessite to you, because you are Necessite. Be sure to chew well, enjoy your food, take it in, say your blessing, be thankful for this food, for this snack, this pie, this whatever you're gonna do with it, and take your time enjoying it and give thanks. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Erica Reid with Necessite TV. Toodles!